Hello and welcome everyone, and today in the Geek Tech Show we are going to be reviewing or actually hating on my car. And let me put on my Ionic sunglasses. So before we begin, before all the haters are going to come in and start talking about why do I dislike this car, keep in mind I come from an SUV vehicle before, and this was actually a downgrade in some ways. That said, there's a few things about this, and when you live in the Northeast, that this car has that I really dislike. So I'm going to be talking about why after 3 months, this is the honeymoon period, well, in the vehicle business, you actually think over and figure it out why you should actually get rid of a car or if you should keep it. That said, not everybody else can actually do this. So this is a very special circumstances. Well, I bought this car, loved it initially, and now not really liking it for a few reasons. And I'm going to tell you the top 10 reasons why I dislike it and why you should reconsider if you do decide to get this car. There's other cars that Honda offers that might be just way better for you. And I'm a big Honda fan. Just maybe not a fan of this car for me. So for you, it could be a whole different story. Let's begin with reason number one, and we're going to go through every single reason here. Number one reason, exclusive to Honda or maybe to this vehicle, it is the paint job on it. Now, don't get me wrong here, there is nothing wrong with this paint job. Black looks amazing on this car. At the same exact time, black in any vehicle gets super dirty. You might have to double think about. Plus, with Hondas, the test of time doesn't actually work with them. I have seen a bunch of them have paint issues eventually because it's black. If you live in the deep south, never get black. The car is going to get super hot here. So this is just exclusive to the paint trim here and has nothing to do with this car. Oh, let's go into a few reasons about this vehicle specifically. No sunroof. Now that has to do with, this is a sport edition. In the United States, the sports edition doesn't have a sunroof. I mean, what's the point of a sunroof without a sports edition? But that would be reason number two here. But I'm still keeping a black vehicle if I get another one. Next reason. This is also has to do with the sport edition. You can see right here how, this is reason number three. Look at how tiny this is compared to the ground. And if you look right here, look how big it is here. That's a big difference. This is asking for it. What I mean is, if it goes over anything, just look at the acorn compared to this. If it goes over anything, it's gonna puncture this wheel easily. Also, because it's so low to the ground, you can easily drive over anything with this car, damaging this facade and this vehicle just a bit. Now, a few other things about this. When you live in the Northeast, this is not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is this right here. So this is reason number four. This is a big reason, Northeast. You can actually put your hand here. This is how low it is to the ground. Just like that. So that means there is about 6 inches from here all the way to the ground. And with snow in the Northeast, something's going as much as 12 inches. This car can get easily under a bunch, like of a foot of snow or anything, would definitely give you driving issues with this car. Next thing, which is reason number 5. This is not exclusive to this vehicle, it is exclusive to many Honda vehicles, and it is right here. It's called this new thing. I don't know why they're doing it. It's a space saving thing. It is the e-brake, otherwise known as an actual brake, but look how small it is. And I don't think this is gonna stand the test of time. And if something is ever going to happen and you have to use this, this could easily just fail. This is just my take on this. I really don't trust this e-brakes. In fact, I don't trust the push button start. This is why I got the Sport version, because it's a button. Now, thankfully, this one doesn't have it. But if you did have a button, and I had a button before, those things go after a while. It costs you over $300 to replace those things, and they go bad. So keep this in mind. And the problem with buttons, the more you push on them, the more likely eventually something in the mechanism break. With the key, it's all mechanical. For some reason, those things don't break as easily. But that said, I did have one of those in a Nissan break inside the key fob. So those things can go, it takes about 10 years for those things to go bad, so don't get too worried about that. Next reason, and this has to do again with the Civic car, I think we're reason number 6, I'm not going to even count this anymore, is the lack of a CD player. That's right, there is no CD player in this vehicle. Now you might say there is MP3 and everything else, there is no Android or Apple CarPlay, which defeats the whole purpose here of having no MP3. So the music here is beyond terrible. So let's just listen to it then. Let's turn this on and hear this. Now here's my other complaint about this car. The engine itself is super loud. You can even hear it inside the vehicle. This is a loud engine. Very loud. I think you can hear it too. Now that's when you turn it on. If you don't do nothing, you can still hear the engine. And now, let's hear the music. No music here. Okay, so pretty much the speakers kind of suck. To top it off, although they suck, they're not very good speakers too, so it can't actually blast anything. If you like to blast stuff, this is not the vehicle for you. There's only 4 speakers, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and this is it. This is like bare bones car. Although it's not the worst car, which is the Lex version, it is still one just grade up from the worst version. Next thing about this one is the LED thing right here. It's always LED, always LED. Fuel is getting a little bit on the short side over here. I have no idea why it ate so much fuel. I haven't driven it too far. And you can see it right here. You need more fuel. How much fuel do you need? Well, you go over here and you're going to be finding it out. We have 64 miles left on this car. Now I turned it off. And I'm gonna go into the next reason why this car, and after a while you will really find a quirk about this car, is actually the seat itself. The seats are not that bad, they're not really uncomfortable, they're good actually. The material is the problem with this car. The material, when you feel it, it feels cheap. And worse is just when you press on it, the way it feels. It doesn't have this nice feeling. It has this like cheap styrofoam-like feeling to this seat. I really dislike it, and it attracts all kinds of anything to it. So anything from the outside, any pet hair, anything is just a magnet to this seat. This is not good. Really not good. If you get anything but the black, you're gonna get everything seen right here. That's why I like the black, because you can't see this much, but you can see the pet hairs. It's just attracting anything anywhere. Now, next reason is going to be very simple, and I will tell you right now. It has to do with the room in this car. So I have a pad here. It's supposed to be for my dog. And once you put the pet house in the back, there's almost no space here for anything else. Talking about room here, there's a few things that you can put inside the storage compartment and so on. Just a little bit here. There's only one place where you can put your documents right here. In my other car I had double of them. This one is pretty deep actually, which is the only good thing about this. There's no lock. You can't lock your stuff here. I mean, what's wrong with your Honda? you should have a lock where you can lock this up. There's no privacy here. So if somebody breaks in your car or anything, nothing protects anything in the glove box. And I really dislike that. Next reason is right here. And I think I'm going to go up to 20 reasons today. There is nothing here to put your sunglasses case. I'm really used to that from my previous Honda. And this one does not have it. And let's go into the back seat. I'll show you the next really thing I don't like. But before that, this thing. This thing is actually pretty bad. And you might say, what's wrong with this? Not the way it looks. That's not the problem. The problem is how it reflects light in your eyes. So this material is very reflective, and if you're driving, the sun is going to super reflect to this right into your eyeballs. So make sure you always have a really nice pair of sunglasses when you drive this car. Next thing is this, the door handle. Now, this is locked. Oh, you thought it was locked. It was actually opened. And you can't tell if it's locked or open. This is on the wrong side. So look at this. That's red. It means it's open. This means it's locked. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, now it's locked, right? It's always... There's no way you can really lock this. And you can't tell the difference if you're locking it or you're not locking it because of the way this is built. So it's supposed to be locked right now. But you can't see it because the red thing is not showing up. It's supposed to be locked now. Now it's not. But how can you see it from the side? Mostly you're sitting right here. You can't see anything. You can't tell the difference if you're locking the vehicle or you're not locking it because you can't see it here. Not from your visibility. So you put this on the wrong side of it. So that's another thing that this Honda actually has, and that's not cool, Honda. I mean, you could have just created something else here. Let's go to the back. Next issue we have here is this right here. There is no glove compartment or anything in here that you can put your maps. And both of those are guilty of the same thing. Also, right here, it was supposed to be, and I have this stuff here, so let me take this out a little bit so I can show you what I mean. There is nothing that comes out here to put cup holders or anything else. It's just plain blank. So that's not good either. So make sure when you buy this car that this is exactly what you're looking for, because there is issues with it that you won't be able to tell. Plus the surface itself gets super dirty, just the kind of a quality material. I mean, it feels the fabric. There's something really cheap about this Civic and the fabric. I know it's a Civic, but the dashboard is fine. It's just the fabric and the material that they used here. I wish they found some other material. Does it really have to feel this cheap? It really doesn't. Next thing that we have about this car is the facade itself. You might be complaining about that. The biggest complaint is actually this weird line that keeps on going, and it has no actual use. It just goes. This line, it looks like there is something like a dent in the car, and it doesn't. It's just a facade, and it serves no purpose. It shouldn't actually be though. That is one of the other things. Interesting enough, if you keep on looking in here, you see another one of those engineering mistakes, which is this. Those holes in here. This looks really nice. Intakes. This intake is fake. You can see it's fake. But I wish there was holes all over the place just to make it look good. If not, why don't you just close it up? Now, there's something in here that it's supposed to be open for a reason. So you might as well just open the whole thing up like you opened it right here, and they didn't. And unfortunately that they opened this up, the radiator is right under here. Are you kidding me? You put the radiator in here and you put those intakes in here. So any piece of rock, since it's so low to the ground, is going to fly in there, hit the radiator, and eventually it's going to dent something in there or something. Not good. Fog lights themselves, are pretty small, not substantial enough, not good enough. Same thing for the lights themselves in this vehicle. In fact, the safety in this car is not this great either, and I'll be showing you the full report after that about the actual safety for this car. Now, another few things that I dislike about this has to do with this right here, the facade in here. I mean, I like the way it looks, don't get me wrong here, but all the dirt accumulates all over here, and spider webs, anything, just get accumulating in this whole area. Fingerprints too, pretty cool. Next thing, go right inside here. You can see what I'm talking about in terms of space. And there was not much space here. Once you put in something like for the dog, a dog cage, thankfully it actually fits. It means there's only very small space left for you to fit anything else in here. To top it off, Honda, I don't know why you start doing this, and the CR-V has the same exact thing. HR-V is, I think, no, I'm not sure if HR-V has it. But this is just the worst idea that Honda came up with. In some ways it is the best, but it is also the worst. The best thing about this is just this. This is just a cool thing that you can just take it out with like one hand. You decide you don't want this anymore, you just grab it out and you take it out. You get extra storage space, which is cool. On the other hand, the material and the use of it. Okay, so this prevents the sun from shining here, which is kind of cool, but I wish there was a replacement that you can just put something really heavy here if you want to. Because let's say, for example, you put your dog here. I don't know, I don't think you should be putting your dogs here, period. But let's say you put something in here that keeps them moving. It's going to damage it pretty easily. Now I have the dog cage for the dog to keep him in here. And you could keep him in here when you're driving. The reason for that is quite simple. This is part of the car, so you're still getting air in here. It's not really a trunk. So that's the good part. The bad part, there is almost no space here, and maybe it's just better for you to put it over there. That's why I have this cage over here. This is just an emergency, just in case the dog is so misbehaved. There is no reason for him to be sitting there anymore. Most of the time he'll be right there. But another thing is about this, just how small of a space you're getting in this vehicle. Just not much in here. Now another thing that I got is this, which is a mod to protect from, let's say the dog decides to do something accidentally, or you spoil something. This doesn't come with your vehicle. You have to buy it extra, and you can buy it offline. So if you buy it on eBay, it's going to cost you twice as less, if not 3 times as less than it cost you in the store, and it's the same quality. You might as well just buy it not from a dealer. So that's the next thing that I have the issue with this vehicle. There was not that many issues with it. The hinge is pretty cool actually. Then it has a hinge here for that. And the next issue with the car goes back to the front. So if you want to fix it up, you want to pop the hood up, it has this double chin, which is just weird. So double chin on the hood itself, and you don't know where the hood is and which is not. You always are tempted to put your hand in here and lift it up from here, but this is not where the hood is. The hood is right here, so you have to lift it from the back and then lift it from here. And this actually just confuses people, and you can accidentally damage the facade because of that. So those are the main reasons I have for this car. It's not 4x4, there's not enough space in here. It is very, very low to the ground. It is super sporty. If you like that kind of stuff, this car is for you. This engine, it's pretty much, the thing about this car is it has huge engine, humongous engine, the same as the CR-V does. And it's pretty much what you're really buying here is paying for this huge engine, paying for the hatchback, paying for a bit of toys that you're getting in this car, which is the Honda HR-V actually has. And it is really bare bones in terms of that. You're not getting anything else too fancy here. You're getting the speed right there. Well, you can go and stick shift this and use right here those things, and you can just shift them up with the plus and minus when you're driving. So those are the pedal shifters, otherwise known. Those pedals right here, which are pretty cool. And you can see my vibrating 5 fingers. I did a review on that before. Those are awesome shoes, by the way. More awesome than this car. I'm just kidding. This car is kind of cool. And eventually, after driving it for 3 months, I might actually be switching it for something else. So now you might be asking which is the next car I'm going to be getting. So if you keep on watching this channel, you're going to be finding out why I'm actually replacing this car. Now, another thing is just the vehicle itself. There is just, maybe it's too cheap for me, I don't know. It just doesn't serve the purposes that I need this for. And this is, I live in the northeast. It's going to get snowy soon, and this car just doesn't have what it takes to drive in the snow. And yeah, I should have known about when I just bought this car, but I thought 190 pound, whatever horsepower, 180 something horsepower engine and everything, it shouldn't be that much of an issue in the snow, but I'm not. I don't think I'm going to be sticking around to testing this thing out. And the cool thing about this is that those twin exhaust pipes I just threw out the way. The vehicle looks good. I'm not going to be blaming that part of the car. It's just the biggest issue I have is the tires, the wheels, just how low to the ground it is. So before you get a brand new vehicle, I want you to make sure that you head over to this specific place. This is the Institute Highway Safety. And when you go over here, you can check out and figure out how good your vehicle actually is. I wish I did this before I bought my actual vehicle, or maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention. So first of all, let's check out the Honda Civic hatchback. And I just pressed on it right here. And when you press on it, you can check out the different model years. Now, maybe I did look at this and I was actually fooled. Now, one thing is that you have to make sure when you look at this, this doesn't actually paint the entire picture. So it looks really good when you look at this initially. But if you keep on looking, you will see what I mean by this. In a second, I'm going to be showing you. What you really want to see is, for example, let's go to the Subarus. They're very famous for safety. And you can go to almost any model. And when you go to a specific Subaru model, you're going to see the following: Top Safety Pick Plus. This is exactly what you want to see in a vehicle. And everything else is green here, but this doesn't paint the whole entire picture, but this up here definitely does. Moreover, there is something else that you have to take a look when you are shopping for a vehicle. So let's go back to the Honda Civic hatchback, and I'm going to be showing you exactly what I mean here. So you have to go and press on the thing you want to press on, which is the Civic hatchback photo. And after you press on that, you can change the model years. And this vehicle was only out for 2 different years, which means this vehicle actually haven't been out for a long time. Now, if the car is going to be out for a very long time, I'm sure they're going to improve everything and make it even better. So next thing you want to do is to check out why it didn't actually get this special award for it. And there is a reason for that. So press on small overlap front, and you're going to be seeing this interesting thing, which says acceptable for head and neck injury, acceptable for lower leg and foot. This is not good. Press on side, you're going to see the pelvis area and the leg gets acceptable rating. Everything else looks pretty good, but it means that the vehicle itself is not so great. There is a few issues with it, including this one, which gets a P rating, which is for the headlight, and that is not good at all. So P is poor, which means the headlights for this vehicle are just for beauty. They are not very good when you have actually fog, and the whole reason for those headlights is to be actually fog lights. So they're totally useless as fog lights because they get very poor, not even passing grade. On the other hand, let's take a look at a different vehicle just to see the difference between those two. So the Honda CR-V, this is the flagship vehicle, and it is a flagship vehicle for Honda. And if you look over here, this one did get the top safety pick. Now, even if it gets top safety pick, it doesn't actually mean that everything is top safety, including the child ankles, which get only acceptable rating. So if you have kids, you might think over about that. And headlights are still getting just acceptable, and it's only in certain trims, which is weird because there is only 2 trims that actually have it. And of course, the 4th trim, which is LX trim, doesn't even have any headlights, so you can't really rate something that doesn't actually have headlights, period. Now, interestingly enough, let's go to the other car I was considering before I bought this one, which is the HR-V. And this one, surprisingly, has very poor rating. Look at this, the small overlap front and driver, that's actually just acceptable. Passenger side is not even rated, so we don't even know how good this is, but we can go to a different model year to double check, such as 2017, they haven't rated that one as well. 2016, it hasn't been rated. They never actually tested this out. I don't know why they haven't, but they didn't. The headlights are super poor, which means they're totally useless on this. They're just for beauty. Another Honda vehicle with headlights that don't actually work for fog lights. So that's one thing. The fog lights, there's the headlights, and this one is just poor rating for the lights, period. So it's not even the fog lights, we're talking about any lights for that matter. So that's not good. Then you can see the pictures of the actual injury to potentially a passenger, and this is a dummy, so that's not a real passenger, but you can view the videos and you can see how this car actually looks like in an accident. The one that really interests you and should is the one you want to buy, which is the Civic 4-door hatchback. So pressing on that one, you can check it out and you can see how it looks like in an accident. Definitely the front model of this vehicle prevents a lot of the accidents from happening because the model is just so big, which is a good thing. So you want to have as much distance as you can from the model itself or the front of the car to you, because that's going to protect you in the event you crash into something. Everything else here, you can just view it and you can double check for it. Also the roof strength, how powerful the roof is, including how heavy this car is, which is not on the heavy side, which is there's only 2,738 pounds versus a CR-V, which is going to be 1,000 pounds almost, much more heavier. Remember, everything has to do with inertia, otherwise known as the more heavier the car is, the more likely you'll be much more safer, because the heavier car always wins in any type of an accident. So this one, front crash prevention, gets superior 6 points on that one. Let's go to the child ankles, and for kids this is just acceptable. So if you plan on having actual kids, this is not the vehicle for you. You want to have good here. Other safety features over here you can check as well. Interesting enough, when you go to the roof strength right here, you also get the peak force of the actual roof, and it does pass right here as in good. So keep this also in mind. There's a lot of stats, interesting things here you can figure out, and you can check your favorite vehicle and get the stats for it.